In a city that never sleeps, where convenience is at our fingertips, a silent hustle pulses through the streets of London. This is the heartbeat of the gig economy, that world that promises freedom but often comes at a cost. Deliveroo, Uber Eats and Just Eat are just a couple of names that have become synonymous with our modern way of living. Behind every click, behind every meal delivered, lies a network of individuals chasing dreams, schedules and sometimes ends meet. But who is at the forefront of this gig economy in the UK? The clock is always ticking and the job security is fleeing fast as the British summer. The gig economy has redefined the traditional employment landscape, offering unparalleled flexibility, or it has been defined already by engaging in freelance and side hustle work. But just like we mentioned, with this freedom comes a new set of challenges. As we embark on this journey, we'll uncover the stories, or one story in particular that piqued my interest, of a rider that delivers your meals. From the rush of peak hours to the uncertainty of the next gig, we'll see the world through his eyes. This is more than just a story about delivering food, it's a glimpse into the future of work, struggle for rights, strikes, lack of employment unions, and often living under the poverty line. Deliveroo started delivering food in the mid-2013s and Uber Eats in 2018. They quickly gained a lot of popularity based on the ongoing factor of, you guessed it, convenience. By connecting hungry customers with local restaurants and also independent food courier. Simple, right? They promise to deliver your favorite meals to your doorstep within just few taps on your smartphone and also in record time. Sounds nice and dandy on paper, isn't it? They started with ride sharing on Uber and went over to freelance work. This so-called labor market being characterized by short-term contract and also freelance work as opposed to permanent jobs. In the UK alone, millions are now self-employed in this sector because it draws on the nature of flexibility and autonomy and also the concept of being your own boss without stress from management, you know. Those people that make your life hell at work. For many, the gig economy offers a vital source of income and a way to navigate the complexities of modern life. They promise freedom to work when and where you want, being your own boss in the truest form of sense. However, again, this freedom hits you with a double-edged sword. What was supposed to be just a side gig or a side hustle, if you may, turned into full-time job for many, becoming dependent of what was supposed to be a weekend job or barely 3 days a week. Due to its lack of protection of traditional employment, such as, minimal wage guarantee, sick pay, holiday leave, or even just holiday, gig workers find themselves at the mercy of fluctuating demand, random algorithm breakdowns, and the inherent uncertainty of freelance work. People who were striving for that extra income wanted to have a different lifestyle. But on the other side, they ended up similar to those who wanted the stress-free life with a regular income, when you start early in the morning and many times staying even overnight without orders, ending the day at a loss rather than making profits. This gig economy doesn't just reshape the lives of its workers, it rippled through the entire economy and society, challenging our traditional notions of employment and work-life balance, because it isn't what started off good, ended up being a nightmare for many. As these traditional platforms continue to grow, their influence extends beyond individual livelihoods. They affect labor markets, consumer behavior, and sometimes even some landscape on the urban area. Couriers have even given statements that they are people that have worked as food couriers for 7 years minimum, some, but also they racked up thousands of miles across central London in our case, but never quite earned enough to go on holiday. One example that we're going to be focusing is Shaf Hussein. He says that he used to be able to do 12 hours a day a week, but the toll on his physical and mental health meant that he had to scale back the hours. This isn't just an example of a person that has lower back pain and now suffers from depression. He also mentions that after doing those lengthy hours, on a good day, he argues that a rider might earn between £60 and £80 by working 12-hour shifts. So let's just say you make an average of £70 a day, yeah? After working 12 hours, apologies, not a day. That brings you down to an hour, £5.82 per hour. Now this is almost half the national minimum wage in the UK. Besides poor pay and risking your life and gear, is it worth it though? For example, another of Shaf's friends was stabbed for his e-bike in East London. That's why Hussein now prefers a cheaper model, since before he lost 2 mountain bikes in a robbery. He also dealt with this. You might be thinking he's living the life, isn't it? In reality, he mentioned that his social life at this point is non-existent. People also tell him that he doesn't have a boss, but he still has to work every day at rush hour times or he makes nothing. Now in the UK, the debate over the status of gig economy workers has ignited a lot of legal battles and public disclosure. Landmark court cases have begun to challenge the very foundation of this gig work economy, questioning where workers should be classified as independent contractors or given the rights of employees. These legal challenges signal a critical examination of fairness, security, and dignity in the gig economy, which it's non-existent almost. They also had controversies that minors were working on the platform, doing food delivery without the required age of 18, since people started sharing their accounts for profits. They even rented them out or even used fake GPS, so many accounts have been closed for dishonesty. When you look at it from a different angle, when your life depends on 2 apps or even more sometimes, it's understandable why people go this length, since almost everybody can create an account and wait a bit for the boarding period and then enter the market to work. Barriers are being very low, which create a disproportionate number of couriers when contrasted to orders and money made per hour. Nonetheless, you could also argue that in the UK, riders are misclassified. They're so-called self-employed workers, but they are not. Maybe some limits on the number of riders that each company can have on the street might help. People are also calling out the government to regulate the industry when it comes to the amount they have to pay the riders. Then again, if you go to an hourly wage that make you a normal employee, you see where they're standing, at a weird crossroads between law, regulations, and lack of security, because a lot of them are risking their life by doing night shifts, which again, it doesn't pay the amount it should.